making bad purchasing decisions. Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is inspired by my good friend Abby Williamson. She did a video recently talking about makeup products that she shouldn't have bought. I thought it was a really good video and it made me reflect on some things in my collection that I just, honestly, in retrospect, should not have purchased. Whether it was something I thought I was going to get a lot of use out of and then didn't really end up using as much as I thought I would, or it's just something that I bought on impulse and it just generally was not a good decision. I just want to go through today's video and reflect on and show you guys some things that I kind of regret buying in my collection and then just sharing with you why. Before we start, I just want to say a huge thank you for 25,000 subscribers. Cried a little bit and then went back to studying for calc, but it was such a surreal moment. My channel has grown from 10,000 at the beginning of the year to 25k, and I can't wait to see where the new decade takes us. I just want to say I'm so grateful for you guys and thank you for giving me a platform to share what I'm passionate about. Thank you for giving me an outlet to talk about things that are really important to me, whether it's very personal life things or just colorful powder that I regret buying. So I've had this giveaway planned for quite a bit, but I'm finally doing a 25k giveaway just to celebrate, and this is my biggest giveaway ever. Everything you see here on screen is going to be in the giveaway. It's a ton of eyeshadow palettes. We have some of the new Kaleidos highlighters that I really love, and I want to throw those in there for you guys. It's just a big box of makeup that I want to give to somebody to say thank you. So a link to enter the giveaway will be down below. Also, thank you to everybody who entered the Colourpop giveaway. I did not expect you guys to be so excited about this one, but I DM'd the winner, so this one is over, but the new giveaway should be up and running by now. Thank you so much for everything. I'm trying really hard not to cry in this. This year has been one of the hardest of my life, but it's also been one of the best, and I owe a lot of that to you guys. So mushy intro over. Full details of this look should already be on Instagram. And without further ado, let's just reflect on how much of a dumbass I am.
What will you learn? What will you learn? That your actions have consequences!
So, the first thing I want to talk about is a product that kind of inspired me to do this video that I just thought of immediately when I started planning it out, and that is the Melt Blueprint Stack. Let me preface this by saying I love Melt Cosmetics so much. I currently have 3 different palettes from Melt right now. I have, of course, the love of my life, Gemini. I bought Smoke Sessions slightly after that, and I really love using this one with Gemini. I just feel like the colors go very well together. And then I have the new Vita palette, which is beautiful. So, loving Melt eyeshadow palettes, I really wanted to try out the stacks just because I'd heard that the stacks are a better formula, and I was like, that sounds impossible. The palettes are already perfect. Let's try it out. And the Blueprint stack came out earlier this year. This was the one that I really wanted to try out just because I felt like the color schemes in the other stacks were just not really speaking to me. But it's an 8-pan palette, half like vibrant blue shades and then like half kind of basic brown shades. As you can see though, mine's kind of disgusting. It arrived to me pretty much completely shattered. As you can see, I did try and repress it, but Melt's formula itself is very like soft and buttery smooth, and as a result it's very fragile. So I don't travel with my Melt palettes. Melt's customer service is great though, so they did refund me for this, but it's kind of a mess, and because it is magnetic, the like shimmer particles, which have magnetic particles in them, get like all over the place and it's really hard to clean off. So, but like color scheme wise, I've done a few looks of this one and I've enjoyed how they've come out, but looking at the whole palette overall, there are many reasons I probably shouldn't have bought this one. The first is there are only 2 mattes. You have one like dark navy blue, which is beautiful. This is like one of the most unique shades I have in my collection, and then one dark brown. They don't really have any types of like mid-tone matte shades, which can make it a little bit annoying, and I personally don't love predominantly shimmer palettes. I like to have either an even balance of mattes and shimmers or more mattes than shimmers. I think they could have easily switched out like one of these shimmery blue shades or one of these like shimmery beige shades to add in one extra matte, and I think that would have really tied the whole thing together and maybe I would have used it more. But I also just feel like the color scheme, while it was fun when I first got it, it wasn't something that had a lot of longevity in my collection and something that would continue to inspire me. Like after I got the first couple looks out of it, I was like, okay. So I did actually try and declutter this one in my palette declutter earlier this year. Because it is so like banged up and honestly kind of gross looking, I don't feel comfortable selling it on Poshmark, and I haven't had any friends who like wanted to take this off my hands, so I just kind of have it. I used it recently to do a look and I was like, okay, this is nice, but it wasn't inspiring me. I honestly just prefer my Melt palettes. I like seeing all the colors laid out in front of me rather than having to like open individual compartments. I feel like it's just easier to visualize a look when you can see the full range of colors you have to play with. I have nothing against gimmicky products. You guys know I love packaging. Not everything in my collection needs to be functional for me to appreciate that it's like cute and pretty. And I also really love Kaja Beauty, so I was very excited about this Kaja Cheeky Stamp Cushion Blush. Basically, it's a heart stamp. You have a little cushion compact with like a kind of liquid to cream pigment shade, and you just kind of stick it in there and like cute. I bought the shade 06 Flirty because it was the most basic pink tone shade, and as much as I love going adventurous with my eyeshadow, my blush is always going to be a basic pink color. Also, I very much love cream cheek products. I was pretty confident that this was going to be like a new favorite for me. First of all, this is a very sheer formula, a little bit more sheer than I was expecting, and it's kind of like watery almost. So I felt like it was very, very hard to actually get some color payoff on my cheeks, and there is such a small amount of product in here as well. So even though it is like $19, I want to say, on the more affordable end for a Sephora product, kind of expensive given the amount of product that you have in here. So it is pretty sheer, and I think that's partially my fault because I got this light shade that doesn't really have a ton of like pigment. Maybe if I'd gotten like a brighter pink shade, it would have shown up a little bit more. But I also feel like this does kind of fade pretty quickly from my cheeks. So this is not really it for me. I definitely did get sucked into the whole packaging appeal of having a little, but then you're gonna blend it out anyways. It's not like you're gonna have a heart on your cheek all day. So it was definitely kind of an impulse buy just because I was, what was I buying? I think I was buying the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation, and Sephora free shipping is $50. So I was like, I'm just gonna add this in. It's probably something I would have talked myself out of buying if I was just individually looking at it, but because I was like in the mood to buy something, I just added this in there, and it's kind of collecting dust now. I truly believe that there are different categories of makeup where it's like better to splurge, better to save. For me, foundation and like base products, I typically prefer high-end stuff. Lip products and mascaras, drugstore all the way, forever and always. Like just looking at my lipsticks area right now, most of it is Colourpop, and that's how I like it to be. I think either Hannah or Abby recently said this, but like lipstick formulas, it's kind of just like a lipstick. Yeah, that's definitely not what they said. That's definitely not how they said it. Like lipstick formulas at this point, it's kind of hard to develop an innovative lipstick formula unless it's like a matte liquid lipstick that's completely non-drying. Like lipsticks are generally just going to be lipsticks. There's not anything super special about them. So for that reason, I don't generally get sucked into buying a very, very expensive lipstick. But then Pat McGrath exists, so I stand Pat McGrath as an artist. I think she's just incredible, has been a trailblazer in the industry, and I admire her very much. So her expensive ass prices, don't admire that so much as I'm like, wow, she's doing it. And I think last year these were pretty popular. I saw a lot of reviews of this, but then like nobody is talking about them anymore, which is interesting to see. But the Pat McGrath $38 lipsticks. She has two formulas, I believe, the Mattetrance and the Luxtrance. I've tried both of them. I do have a few of my Mattetrance shades left. This one is the shade Omi, and I will keep this forever because it was my junior prom lipstick color, and I do really, really enjoy this shade. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of her shades are really beautiful and unique, and that's the kind of only reason I would buy a high-end lipstick shade, if it's like a very special shade that I can't find anywhere else. These were basically touted to be like the world's best bullet lipstick, the world's most matte lipstick, the world's longest lasting lipstick. They are beautiful. They're very matte, very long lasting. Can be kind of uncomfortable just because of how matte they are, but they really have that like powdered down velvety look to them, which is beautiful if you have hydrated lips, not so beautiful if you are in the dead of winter. But it's $38, and I think I tried to convince myself for a long time, like, it's worth it. It's a fun, unique formula that you don't have anything else like in your collection. But just recently, I found pretty much the closest dupe I've ever found to this formula, which is the Makeup Revolution Pro lipsticks. This is the shade Cashmere. It's that same like velvety, buttery, smooth matte formula. It doesn't apply with any like dragging on the lips, which I find a lot of like matte bullet lipsticks do. And it's pretty much the exact same feeling and formula as the Pat McGrath ones. So these are a lot cheaper. I regret buying a full size of these. I do have a few minis. These came in a set of 3 for $25, whereas this is 1 for $38. I think these are just generally better because I don't really go through lipsticks, and this is like a smarter purchase for me, whereas buying this full size lipstick, I love having it and I love using it. It's like a fun sensorial experience to just kind of like pull out your Pat McGrath lipstick. But it was a dumb purchase indeed. The next product is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. Obviously, I only have like a mini size. This was $19, I believe, for the mini. And basically when it came out, there were two polar opposite reactions to it. Half the people who tried it out were saying it was like the best gripping, very like long-wearing primer ever. It holds your foundation down. And then there was another camp of people saying, this ruined my skin and broke me out like nothing else. So naturally I was like, let me try it. So I bought it for my new Makeup Releases Favorites and Fails series. I tested it out for a bit. I pretty much mostly enjoyed this. I did find that it was kind of finicky with different foundations, so you can't really use this one with a more like oil-based foundation. It's really just kind of hit and miss. You have to try it with different things, and sometimes it'll completely break up your foundation, sometimes it'll make your skin look beautiful throughout the day. I didn't notice any like major breakouts like some people were talking about, but I did notice my skin kind of breaking out, and I really wasn't sure if it was this primer or if it was new skincare that I was using. Basically, when I started noticing myself breaking out, I stopped using this one. I kept breaking out for a little bit, and then I eventually cleared it back up again, and now I'm too scared to start using this again because I'm not sure if it was this primer that was causing anything. but at this point I'm too afraid to try again. Now I just kind of have this primer and it just like sits there and it's like,
Julia, why did you buy me?
Another thing that I bought this year that was kind of questionable, the NYX Bear With Me line came out and I was really excited about the general vibe. I think especially going into 2020, natural makeup and just kind of like no makeup looks, I think that's going to be really big. I think that is going to be very, very big. I think we saw it a lot this year as well with like Colourpop's Pretty Fresh line, I believe. Natural kind of dewier complexion releases, which I love. This NYX line came out and I was very conscious of like the millennial pink packaging, the entire like Instagram fresh vibe of it was very much marketed towards younger demographics and people who like clean beauty as an aesthetic. I did fall into the hype and I did want to try something out from the line. The Tinted Skin Veil, it's supposed to be like a non-comedogenic, fresh-faced, and it's nice. It has next to no coverage, so it's pretty much just your average tinted moisturizer. It doesn't really do anything out of this world to provide any like special glowiness to my skin. First of all, it was $13. I feel like NYX's prices are getting up there. You're getting 0.91 fluid ounces, which is a very, very small amount, which is not a lot, especially for a tinted moisturizer where you're going to be using a little bit more than you would with a coverage foundation. And finally, I feel like this was a big waste of money for me just because when my skin's doing good enough that I don't need to use foundation and I can use tinted moisturizer, I'll either not use foundation at all and just go like barefaced, maybe a little bit of concealer, or I'll reach for tinted moisturizer. But when I go for tinted moisturizer, I want something that's going to have some kind of skincare benefits or good ingredients. I love hyaluronic acid, and this is pretty much just like a bare bones, very small amount of coverage product that doesn't have anything special to it. Like there's no SPF in here, there's kind of nothing to it. This collection very much relied on the natural beauty, like fresh face, like healthy vibes to it, but it didn't really provide any like healthy benefits, if that makes sense. And overall, I'm going to try and use this one up just because I have it, but I wouldn't repurchase it and I wouldn't recommend it. Another impulse purchase, the Fenty Beauty Mattemoiselle lipstick line came out, I think 2 years ago. And when it first came out, I was so overwhelmed by the really fun color options that were so very Rihanna to come out with. I saw the entire line in stores and I was swatching all the shades. Of course, I gravitated to the more like wearable shades, the pinks and the nudes and stuff. I really only had money to buy one shade, so I was trying to pick my shade out of the entire line of things. And I was gonna buy this one nude shade that I think I probably would have worn quite a bit, but then I was like, no, you're buying from this very fun lipstick line, you should get a fun color. So I convinced myself that I was the type of person who had the self-confidence to pull off a bright orange lipstick like this. I've worn this maybe 3 or 4 times. And the lesson of this story is there's nothing wrong with loving nude lipstick. You're not boring and you're not uncreative just because you don't like colorful lipsticks. Nude lipsticks are great. I wear them all the time. I love a good neutral lip that works with everything. And as much as I love colorful shades every now and then, I feel more confident, I feel more beautiful in things I feel comfortable in, and this is not one of those things. The Colourpop No Filter Concealer, I feel like the opinions on this concealer are all over the place. Like half the people love this and half the people think it's awful. I bought this in like the first launch. I have the shade Light Neutral 15, and I think the initial reviews of this concealer were extremely like positive. Like people loved this concealer when it first came out and all the reviews were glowing. So I bought it and I used it on my under eyes and I was like, wow, this looks like shit. Because everyone was raving about this one, I was like, maybe it's just because I got a shade that's a little bit too dark for me. I got the wrong shade. I should buy a better one and then I'm gonna love this concealer. So this is not a makeup product that I shouldn't have bought because I bought this concealer. It's because I bought a second one. I bought the shade Fair 04, which is a lot lighter and very, very pale. I used this one on my under eyes and I was like, oh, maybe, it just looks bad on me.
Wow.
So now I have 2 of these no filter concealers. They don't look good on my under eyes. No amount of smoothing powder, or even if I use a very small amount, can make these look non-crepey and gross on my under eyes. So I pretty much only use these as eye bases because they are really, really nice for that purpose. Now I have a rule with myself where I try and not buy like duplicates or extra shades of a certain thing, or even like or backups anymore, just because it doesn't really work or make sense for me given the amount of things I test out. I'm never really going to go through either of these concealers, and I have 2 of them now and they just kind of make me sad when I look at them. So yeah, I'm so awkward in this video. I'm so sorry. It's been like over a month since I filmed last. I just finished finals and I'm back home for the first time in like over a month, which is lovely, but this is my first video that I'm back filming, so I'm gonna have to edit out a lot of stuttering. Editing Julia, sweetie, I'm so sorry.
Bitch, I'll kill you.
Another makeup phase that I went through that was questionable to say the least was buying blush shades that are clearly not marketed towards me and convincing myself that they could and would look good on me. This is one of the e.l.f. Primer Infused blushes in the shade Always Spicy. A beautiful like toasted cinnamon gorgeousness type shade. I convinced myself that if I use a very, very light hand with this one and a very nice kind of like fluffier brush like this one to apply and just blended my little heart out, that this would look amazing on me.
Ciao. Anyway, so
this formula in particular though, it's a very, very smooth, very buttery pigmented formula. So I think if I had a shade that like worked for me, I would really, really enjoy this. I do also have the bronzer in this formula. That's awesome. And it's actually my shade. Somehow I had the logic to be like, no, I shouldn't get deeper bronzers because that's not going to look good on me. But I can get deeper blushes because, you know, it's fine. But I've tried to use this one several times and it's just clearly too dark for me. Another dumb purchase on my part. Another blush that was a dumb purchase. Anything that's in a loose pan like this. This is the Colourpop So Retrograde blush from the Kathleen Lights Zodiac collection, I believe. I hadn't really seen orange blush shades like this one, especially kind of like on the more luminous side, so I bought this and I was very, very excited about it. And Colourpop's website, for these like pressed powder singles, they always give you the option to purchase a compact with it. So it would have been like, I think $8 or something to get a compact with this. I was like, no, it's fine. I can just use it in a single pan. Save the turtles. I've made a joke before that if I depot something and put it into my singles, it goes to die. Like, I'm never going to use it again. So this went into my Single Shadows palette, and I just, like, as a result, haven't used it. I actually don't really like the color on me as well either. It's just, like, not very flattering. But because it's a single pan and it's in my magnetic palette, yeah. In contrast to the Melt Blueprint palette, this is actually a palette that I really do love, and it's not something I regret because I don't like use it or I don't like the product itself. This is the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. Here's a color scheme of this, and then here's the color scheme, and then here's Modern Renaissance. Yeah, and I have no defense for that because I owned Modern Renaissance for pretty much like a year before I even bought this palette. I also have a very similar looking Marc Jacobs palette that looks also very Modern Renaissance-esque. This palette, literally any look I create with this palette, I could also create with the Modern Renaissance. Pretty much the only thing that this really brings to my collection is having Too Faced eyeshadows that I can recommend, because I haven't really liked any of their palettes before this one. It is a really nice palette, and this is my travel palette actually, because Modern Renaissance, as much as I love this one, the ABH formula is super, super soft and very, very fragile, so I would be terrified of this breaking on me and just getting everywhere in my luggage and also all over my heart. Whereas this one, it's like the sturdiest clamshell packaging you'll ever see, and so it's great for traveling, but I am very much of the philosophy that you shouldn't buy separate makeup products just for travel. At least for me, that's like not a justification for buying dumb things. So it's like low-key something I regret, but it is still something that I have used and loved. This one might be a little bit of a shocker because it's something that I've only started regretting very recently. But the ABH Dream Glow Kit. They haven't done a glow kit in a long time. I really do enjoy the Anastasia glow kits. I think they should really come out with a new one instead of just dropping new Norvina palettes. These were completely unique to my collection because they offer this very fun, unique duochrome shift. It's one of those few like highlighter palettes where it's so distinctive. Like I can tell someone's wearing Dream Glow Kit just by the color that they have on their cheekbones. Like you don't even have to tell me what it is and I'll know. Yeah, basically they're just highlighters that have a really fun, unique duochrome shift to them, and that makes them super fun for colorful eye looks, to put on the inner corner, or like give a really, really fun effect on the cheekbone. They're not the best formula. They are pretty chunky and very glitter heavy, so they don't look natural on the cheekbones by any means. They are very apparent and they can emphasize texture because they are more of a glittery formula. I kind of like stuck through it just because they were so unique to my collection. But now the Kaleidos Space Age highlighters have really, really replaced this palette for me. The Dream Glow Kit has a shade here called Sunshine, which was my only like pure yellow highlighter in my collection. Now I have Solar Sailor from Kaleidos, which I'm wearing on my inner corners right now in this eye look, but it's a much smoother formula, so not quite as chunky and glittery. Laser Glazer is so much better than the green shade in the ABH Dream Glow Kit. It's ridiculously beautiful. So even though I wasn't really using this one as regularly as I would have liked to, I still kept it just because it was so unique and I didn't really have any like colorful highlighters that had that very fun duochrome shift element to them. But now I have the Kaleidos one, so I don't really need this one. I'm contemplating decluttering this one, but it is still a fun product. I have kind of come to realize that this is something that I do kind of regret purchasing. Oh, the impulse purchase to end all impulse purchases. Mel Cosmetics back at it again. When I was ordering the Vita palette online, I could not stop myself from browsing through the Amor Eterno collection, just admiring how beautifully cohesive everything was. And of course, I stumbled upon the Cultura gel liner, forced me to stare at this beautiful pumpkin spiceness, mustardy, yellow, orange, brownish shade. I don't really wear gel eyeliners all that much, and this didn't really have the greatest reviews. A lot of people were saying it was a beautiful color, but the formula itself wasn't anything to write home about, and I completely agree with that. Beautiful, unique shade, but it's really not special. So I kind of just was checking out, and then I was like, you know what? It's like $19. I'm gonna add to my cart, which was dumb. So overall, definitely not something I should have bought, but sometimes I just kind of like take it and stare at the color, and I'm like, someday I will create a palette. When I come out with an eyeshadow palette collaboration, there will be this shade in there Mark my words, baby. And then the very last thing, I really love Jouer's cheek duos. Their bronzer formula is the first thing I tried from them, and it's like a very like bouncy, silky powder formula. It kind of melts into your face like a cream, but it's a powder obviously, so it's very, very nice and easy to apply. Browsing their website, and they have a bunch of these blush duos that have different shades in them obviously, and I was trying to pick the one that was going to be the best for me. When I saw this one, I saw the shade here called Kiss Me. It was pretty much game over for me. This is like my ideal blush shade. Very much enjoying the shade. The problem is the shade down here called Touch Me. It's so pale, paler than my actual skin tone. So as a result, really does not show up on me at all. I actually thought this would have like a fun effect where you could just like pop it on the very like apple of your cheek to add a little bit of an extra pale pink kiss, but it does nothing. Honestly, I don't know who this shade would work on. Unless you're like the color of my shirt, I don't think the shade would show up in you at all. Really wish Jouer came out with like single blushes because that would be awesome. But guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you to Abby for letting me just kind of snatch this concept up. But I would love to have a little conversation in the comments. What are some things that you regret buying? Make sure you are subscribed down below, and also follow me on Instagram to see makeup looks like this posted more frequently now that I'm done with finals. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you beautiful, perfect, iridescent starfish, you get the bonus meme. Love you. Bye.
I kind of... Oh, there's Smirnoff in my